episode 26, right?
Ooh.
26.
Yes, 26.
Episode 6, 26. Yeah.
Yep.
Amityville.
It works. It's memorizable. Yeah.
Yeah. Amityville, 1992. It's about time.
Some might say it's about time we've done this review.
Yes, some might.
Some might say it. Some might. What do you say about it, though?
Shut up, Chuck.
Has a disc here in hand. We didn't have a disc last time, but here it is. Oh yeah, he brought the whole set with him.
Oh, I have that too. It's just off the side thing.
I got one too. It's over the shelf. But there's your reverse cover.
Which more companies, I repeat, should do this. I know that normally, like Vinegar will do some reverse covers. Like I've got the Ice Cream Man in the other room, and the reverse cover is literally basically a similar design to what's on the reverse cover. It's like almost the same look. At least these actually have like the old VHS cover art, like on the inside.
Yeah, ain't like the UK, where what they do over in the UK is they just take it and they just put the same cover there just without the rating stamp on it.
Severin, in one of their podcasts after they're releasing something else, I can't remember what it was, but they said one of the reasons they do slip covers is because they like to put something, if there's a good artwork, they'll put it on the slip cover. If there's a second good artwork that's recognizable, they'll put it on the case. And if there's a third one, they'll make it a reversible cover.
Yep.
Basically.
Yeah, just cover all your bases in one fell swoop.
In essence. Unless, of course, you're Scream Factory and you make two separate slip covers for no apparent reason. For some of your collector's editions. But, yeah, this is... So we've gone from the cursed Amityville lamp that looks like a tree to the cursed Amityville clock brought back home by an architect.
Correct.
Boy, don't a lot of stuff happen in this one.
Oh, yeah.
But not bad stuff. Not necessarily bad. I mean, it's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the Photius attacking dog here.
That scene is a hell of a scene.
We've
got the clock that builds itself into the house, pretty much. We've got people losing their minds due to the evil in the house.
Sort of, kind of, vague time travel.
And don't we kind of have ain't there kind of a crazy old lady in this one, too?
Yes.
Is she crazy, though?
I say argument could be made. She's probably the least crazy person in the movie.
That's true. That's true. But it's entertaining. It's throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall to see what's going to stick, but for the most part, it's fun.
This one comes to you from Tony Randall, who you may know better as the director of Hellbound, Hellraiser 2.
Oh.
Did not know that.
Well, now you know. No one is half the battle.
He also directed Ticks.
Nice. I need that.
Seth Green. Yeah, that's one of those ones that Twilight Time put out that I really wish I could have gotten a hold of. I think it was Twilight Time. It was them or Olive.
It was Olive.
Yeah.
And I had it, man, and I traded it to our buddy Goob, who, in return, I think sold it.
I have a bootleg of it, so I'm not too broken up about it right now. But
I'd like to have it back. If I thought he was going to keep it, I would have kept it. Or I would have got rid of it if I thought he was going to get rid of it, is what I'm trying to say. But nonetheless, it's gone. But what is here is Amityville 1992.
Anybody
I'm not touching this.
Recognize the dad in this?
That is Stephen Mocked, Monster Squad.
Yes.
Is that where I've seen him before?
Yes, I think he actually did some of the convention appearances that one year where they were doing Monster Squad reunions at conventions. A few, anyway. Yeah, what is it? He's the dad, or is he like as a cop?
He's the dad. That is the cop. He's the detective.
Yeah, so that's both. Yeah. Okay, he is your lead architect.
Okay.
And he plays a very good psycho, out of his mind mad.
Yes, he does. Tony Randall, and one of the special features on this, there's one with Tony Randall himself. It's like 15 minutes. And there's also one with the producer, Chris DeFaria. He also is the writer, which is one of the reasons why he's on this. One of the writers. And they say that they didn't go in with anybody in mind for the roles, Stephen Mock just came in, auditioned, and killed the role in essence, and that like, not to spoil anything, but the scene where he's talking with someone and tells them that he tried to be a doctor, almost. Apparently, he ad-libbed the almost, and they kept it in because he did that in like his audition, and they liked it so much they used it in the actual movie. That's how good he is.
So we kind of went over the plot, but his ex-girlfriend is staying at his house while he's away in Amityville, New York. And when he comes back, he's like, "Oh, just stay." And she's like, "I'm in a relationship." And he's like, "You're just staying the night." He's like, "There's a bad storm," and they end up fucking.
Pretty
Clearly,
quickly in the
in fact.
movie, yeah.
Like right at the beginning of the film.
Like the
But
first 5-10 minutes, yeah.
It's so weird that these people are like, okay, like, yes, I'll stay. I have a boyfriend. We used to date. I am babysitting your high school age children while you're out of
In
town
New
for the
York.
weekend. And I was unable to become their stepmother, and they resented me then, but they're going to listen to me now. And also, like, she has to stay and help nurse him back to health because something happens to him.
Mhm.
And her boyfriend comes over and stays. Like, in what fucking reality does this happen?
Mhm.
I know people that would be like that.
Like, I just fucked this guy and cheated on you with my ex, and now I have to stay and care for him and his kids. Come stay with me.
I don't know that she actually asked him to stay originally. I think he just came once and then ended up deciding to come back every so often.
I thought she called him.
She might have called him at some point, but I don't think she said come over.
That's a very trustworthy boyfriend if you'd ever be okay with this to even start with.
Yeah. You see,
Go ahead.
that's one thing. He's
Nurse
very
your-
naive.
nurse
Well,
your
he's
ex
very
back.
full of himself too. He's like,
Oh, jackass. Complete
he's
jackass.
like, I've got doctor friends and we'll take care of this. Nothing. I can do it. He's my friend. He's a doctor.
So one of the things about this movie is there's a lot of plot threads that kind of are everywhere. And it's not like overwhelming, and it makes sense. They don't like overlap each other. But I mean, on the one hand, yeah, you've got Stephen Mock is just becoming a brilliant psycho as the movie goes on. On the other hand, you also have her boyfriend, who is a overbearing, arrogant psychologist, and who's trying to throw psychobabble at her the whole time about why she shouldn't be with her ex or taking care of her ex, or why she is taking care of her ex, and things like that. And that's all his lines basically are, is psychoanalyzing her the whole time, basically.
Yeah. Then you've got the angsty son who gets blamed for all the terrible things that happens.
Because he just happens to be either out of the house or somewhere else.
Correct. And then the very young, well, not young, but like
16, I think is the way the movie explains it, yeah.
Right. Daughter who's very homely, we'll say. She dresses, she covers up, and like she likes a boy, but that's about it, She's a very safe character. And then, of course,
we'll leave that alone.
there's a clock.
There's a clock so he
And what
comes
clock
home
is
with it, and he's just like, this house needs this. And you're like,
even light the fire for it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
You said they even light a fire for it.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, immediately that night, it starts building its way into the house.
Yes, literally.
Which is very cool.
Oh, excellent. So the back of the case mentions that this it's a labyrinthian nightmare of gory body horror, set against the facade of happy suburban living.
That's true.
Decently accurate, yeah.
The special effects are good in this.
They're great. I forget who does them. There's someone who Tony Randall worked with before. Oh, fuck, no, I don't. It's K&B.
Oh.
It is I remember now, it's a very early K&B.
Very good.
Which, but yeah, the thing is, like, he comes home and it's just like, yeah, the house needs this clock, and they're like, okay. And he puts the clock on the wall, and then the movie basically ends up being, not only does the son always get blamed for everything, but because he's friends with the not so crazy Ralph, he's the only one who actually understands that shit's going wrong and keeps saying that shit's going wrong.
Well,
Basically.
the clock like opens up and like as she says tries to befriend him
Mhm.
because it fears him.
Mhm.
Because he's probably the only person in the house that is realizing what's happening and isn't being affected by it. That's why everything gets
My only
blamed on
issue
him.
with him now. You talking about the son, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. He takes that whole scenery changing when you flip the light switch thing a little too well, don't he? I mean, if you was in your house and you walk into your living room, you flip your switch and it's a different setting every time you flip it, wouldn't you be a little concerned?
Probably.
Are you asking for realism in a movie about a clock that swirls itself into a mantelpiece? And
I know, like silly of me to look at the logic here. Also just let the neighborhood stray dog in the house. Why not?
Yeah.
But I still like it though.
That's the thing about the movie is I mentioned it's got so many different plot threads, and somehow that's the thing is it has all these plot threads, and somehow they all fit. They don't fuck with each other in essence. Like the way the clock affects each person is the same but different. Basically, it's kind of like in 4 where the priest says it attacks the most vulnerable person. In this one, they don't actually go out of their way to say anything like that. They also don't reference the ending of the 4th one, which was supposed to be the sequel bait. They don't need to do that. But everybody who gets attacked or affected somehow, they're affected in a way that targets their most vulnerable aspect, basically.
Yeah.
Kind of smart.
Tony Randall talks in the, or no, it was the writer talks in it that, and I didn't notice at the time, but he also mentions that the movie is intended to kind of also be like a cyclical discussion of like an abusive relationship in a way as an overall thing, which when you see it and see the movie, you totally understand that after having seen it. And it's very much an Amityville movie as well because it has a lot of the same kind of things that other Amityville movies do, even if it doesn't have them as extremely and as out of placely. For example, there is a brief hint of incest, handled totally differently in this, in a good way.
Yes.
Handled totally differently. There's, I guess it's because it's the 90s, but a lot more sex in some way, shape, or form. The most explicit is what we've already talked about.
That's an okay thing, though.
I know, there's nothing wrong with it, I'm saying, but just the nature of the movie, it's the kind of Amityville movie where you can see that now we're not in the 70s, we're not in the 80s, we're definitely in the 90s, basically.
It's very 90s.
But I will say that sex scene, because I mean, in all reality, there's just one sex scene in the movie.
Yes, there's one specific sex scene.
But
there are other
it
plays
like a huge role in the whole plot, though.
It does?
I think it does because it shows what their relationship was on and off, kind of still is, and that they really still do care for one another. And that's the only reason why she stays.
Yeah, and
to go through all of this.
Leave anything, exactly.
And she doesn't like, shit's going crazy, I'm just going to fuck off and go. She stays through it because she does care about him.
Yeah.
Even if he is fucking half torn apart and,
psychotic, slowly losing his mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
building little Amityville houses because he's an architect.
Yep.
Which is a good touch.
What?
That was a great, yeah.
What'd you say?
It's a good touch.
Oh yeah, very.
Amityville houses. I also like how at the start of the movie, like as soon as the clock comes into the house and the old lady's outside or whatever, and it just transforms into the Amityville house for a moment, and then it goes back to the other house.
Like when the lightning strikes,
You mentioned if you want to make an Amityville movie, just superimpose it over top. Yeah, that's the other thing is like the movie, it's very much something where they want to do a certain thing and they just fucking do it. And sometimes it doesn't make sense, a whole lot of sense. For example, we're not going to go too deeply into it, But boy, the death scene that not crazy Ralph gets, that's amazing.
It's something.
Um,
And
creative with the death
if
scene.
I'm being honest, I was like, "Oh, well, that's great. I'm glad
yeah,
that
it's such a
that
brilliant
that
way to
didn't
finish it off.
happen." And
Yeah,
then fuck.
and literally everybody in the movie either has a death scene or a scare scene that's unique. That's one of the things that works about this movie is, yeah, it's an Amityville movie, sure. This is not like any other Amityville movie we reviewed at all so far. In no way. The soul linking thing, just like it is in general, is that there's a cursed object from Amityville in it. But in terms of style, plot, nothing there.
I really
But
like the end of this too.
yeah.
But go ahead. What are you saying? We'll get back to that.
So the son and his elderly lady friend, who was like borderline clairvoyant or something, they go and do research on this clock and the room that the boy sees when you're talking about him flipping the light switch. But it's like this clock has its own backstory that has nothing to do with Amityville.
Yep. It's just the clock is the cursed thing, and just because the clock was in the house originally, that was
Right.
why a thing.
So it went from like this clock went from like another period in time, and then wound up in the Amityville house, and then left the Amityville house. So it's technically not, like, theoretically speaking, it's not the Amityville entity that's in it.
Yeah.
The other thing about it is, the Evil Escapes, the fourth one, was based on the book of the same name, Amityville Evil Escapes. This one is too.
Yeah.
Because Evil Escapes basically is about the idea that a whole shit ton of cursed stuff comes from the Amityville house. So my assumption would be, since they go out of their way to mention that in the credits, that there probably was a story in there about a clock in this way. Because like in the special feature, the writer talks, or the director, I forget which, talks about the fact that there's a ton of stuff in there, like random items that have these bizarre powers or abilities and stuff. There's just a bunch of them, basically, and they just picked a few, in essence, to do these two movies.
So I'm going to say this. Now, these are the only Amityville movies we've seen. Of course, I've seen this whole box set. You guys, I don't believe, have yet. But other than that, the only other film that we share that we have seen is the remake. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Chuck, since you're the director here,
Yes.
if one of these, over the next course of a year, whatever that it takes us to get through all these Amityville films, when we come back to them, if there is not some sort of a prequel and not the Amityville Dawn, Jesus Christ, not the Amityville Dawn. Okay, I guess I've seen that one that you guys haven't. But there should be a prequel.
Yeah.
Of somebody getting cursed items, artifacts, whatever, and putting them in the Amityville house. And you, sir, should make that film.
That's me. So I'm collecting all the items, just put them back in the house, right? That's the plot.
No. You're writing the story in which someone does that.
That's what I mean. Yeah. I mean, it'd probably be me.
Probably would be you.
Or Ryan. But yeah.
I don't want it to be Ryan. He'll do some stupid dance and take his shirt off.
Yeah, that's true.
And wear a bandana over his head.
It'll be more Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 than Amityville. But yeah, I'm not above it. There's a house.
Because I think that movie needs to be made.
There's a house down the street that's got the windows like the Amityville house.
I mean, the thing that's good about this, and they mention it in the special features, is this originally, I think, what they were going to write wasn't an Amityville story. And they kind of worked it in to an Amityville story. This is what Halloween could have been, this part of the franchise. The concept where you make a different Amityville movie every time about a different cursed object, and you can make a billion of them. Because all that has to happen is that you have a cursed object that was once in Amityville, and suddenly you've got an entirely new movie that doesn't have to take place in the same place, doesn't have to involve the same shit. It could be a different curse every time, and you've got a yearly different franchise. When they made Halloween 3, this is the kind of thing they would have wanted it to be. that you could make something completely different every time.
Yeah. But they messed up, made the first two about Michael Myers. So.
Money.
That's right. 3's the best.
3's good.
So I will point out, last time I mentioned the funny story from Evil Escapes, where they talked about the time the producer couldn't go to the set because the owner of the house would kill him. They mention in the, I think it's either one of the two interviews. So there's a scene, we're not going to go too deeply into the scene, in the movie in which there's a bathtub, and the bathtub overflows. And he says the funniest thing that he remembers about the movie is they were thinking they were going to be hotshots, and they didn't want to gimmick it. They wanted to actually overflow a tub. So they overflowed the bathtub, and they filmed the scene, and everything. He's like, no, don't do that and stuff. But and some were good, some were against it. They filmed the scene, everything goes great. They get the footage. They stop filming, and everyone's like, oh wow, we're sorry. I guess that went right. And yeah, that's right. The minute they finished that, the floor of the bathroom gives way. The bathtub falls down to the first floor, and it just wrecks everything. Because they filmed it in a legit second floor bathroom. Like, this was filmed in an actual house.
It cost a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
They had to fix someone's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had to fix someone's house because they just had to. They had to do. Which, for the record, more power to them for doing practical everything in this.
Yeah.
I mean,
the effects were really good.
Of course, now we know why.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I said when we did the last one, not the last one, but the one before that, the Evil Escapes, that I didn't think I'd seen any of these. But when we got to the very end of this movie, like what happens when stuff happens, and I think I remember seeing that before.
It's a memorable scene.
Yeah. So
I remembered
I think I
that and the clock actually digging into the house.
I remember
from
the
my
clock digging
childhood.
into the house. I know I've never seen this, but I know I've seen the shot of the clock digging into the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is another one of those movies that I'd seen as a kid and had no idea that it was an Amityville movie.
Yeah. The third act is really good, though, I think. With that big, long, whatever weapon that is.
Tsquare.
Yeah, it's a Tsquare.
Which, and I want to point this out, because we talked about like the power tools in the last movie and the whole concept of, you set something up, it's going to come into play. I knew at some point that Tsquare was going to come into play since it was brought up at the very beginning and she's holding it at the door and going for protection.
Mm-hmm.
At some point the Tsquare is going to come into play. And I give the movie credit, it didn't come into play the way I thought it would. In fact, I had a great idea for how it could have come into play, which was that it looks like a crucifix. But they didn't go there. There's no religion in this movie at all, really. But I was just like, well, that would have fit the whole timeline. But,
just the way I like it.
Exactly. But yeah, the Tsquare and the compass, that anything that this movie like kind of sets up, it doesn't do it in such a way that it screams it at you. Like, certain things are going to happen, or you have an idea they're going to happen because of something someone says or does, and the movie still manages to kind of surprise either with what it does or how it does it. And that's kind of a hallmark of why it's a good movie.
So I was almost thinking it was a made-for-TV movie till the sex scene busted out at the beginning of it. I was like, that's not TV.
Yeah,
and
then you learned real quick as the movie went on after that.
Yeah.
But
I
like
it.
The gore probably wouldn't have made it on TV then.
Told you pretty well too.
Yeah.
The gore is probably one of the best parts of it for me.
So this would be then the fourth film that doesn't introduce, but carries on the original Amityville black tar-looking shit.
Yeah.
Twice in this movie.
Yep. And gives it new powers.
That's great.
I know. I say that, and it's a good scene too.
Never look at toy trains the same again.
So I give them all the credit in the world for being creative with this.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I'm still giving it just 3.
I am actually going to go a little better than that. I'm going 3.5 because with the lamp one, I was on the fence. With 2, I was on the fence. When this ended, I was like, yeah, it still feels like it's a little bit, maybe a touch long and maybe a bit confused, but it's a hidden gem. It's good. It's, there's no denying that. So this is my favorite so far.
Yeah.
It's a 3.5 for me.
So
Second favorite in the series.
Secretly, Scream Factory got gypped because they didn't get the best movies. They
Because
got the original movies.
They didn't think they were important.
That's right.
When was the last time you heard of Scream Factory releasing a direct-to-video movie? Apart from maybe Terror in the Isles, and even that wasn't a direct-to-video movie.
Yeah, good question.
I mean, when was the last time Scream Factory released something and really put effort into it that wasn't like a film that's already been released at least once and everyone's fucking wanting?
They don't have Scream Factory does not have a habit of going, "Hey, check out this movie you haven't heard of."
Yeah.
Like they'll
It's
do
gotta have a
something.
follow-up.
And that's why I love Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah.
Half the stuff I buy from them, I've never even fucking heard of.
Like, that's why I mentioned in the last episode, Cthulhu Mansion. I have never fucking heard of that movie. That sounds amazing.
And I need it. If they don't release it, I still need it.
Yeah.
And they were brave enough to put, Zombie 5: The Killing Birds on Blu-ray.
Hell, they're the ones who said, you know what the world needs? Tammy and the T-Rex and Rad and 4K Ultra HD.
4K.
And the Beastmaster.
Yeah.
I need that Beastmaster, man. I can't fucking wait.
That's one of those ones I can't believe that they got it. And they say that they're doing that as part of their Vinegar Syndrome Ultra line or Ultimate line, which tells me that they're going to start doing some movies like that are a little more well-known. And if that's what they're going to do, I may not be able to get them. Well, I mean, if they're ones I want, it does come with a Blu-ray. But, if that's what they're going to do, more power to them because they're going to give them what they need.
Yeah, well, they saved Tammy and the T-Rex because that movie was never released with all that gore that it was released on 4K and Blu-ray, which, by the way, is a great movie. I don't know if you
It's fun as hell.
Yeah.
I still need to buy that. I figured I was going to wait and get it on the Black Friday sale.
Probably worthwhile.
If they have 4Ks left on their site, but I know they're on Amazon.
I have the 4K, but I don't have slipcase, so.
Hang on, I'll tell you right now.
What do you got if you ain't got the slipcase, right?
I'd be okay without a slipcase.
Like I said, a movie. That's what you have. You have a slipcase.
You have just a movie.
A 4K movie where Paul Walker plays an animatronic T-Rex.
Ta-da!
With Denise Richards.
Denise Richards.
And
prime
Denise Richards.
We should mention one thing we forgot to talk about here. There's an important actor in this for a brief moment that we didn't talk about. Dick Miller.
Dick Miller.
Dick Miller as the next door neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tony Randall mentions that because he came up in the Corman school, he felt he had to get Dick Miller in. So he literally brought Dick Miller in for like one day and shot this little scene where, Dick Miller something happens to his house. He gives it everything he's got. He gives it his Dick Miller best. But I mean, it's fucking Dick Miller.
So the son in this, I looked up and I saw that because I was like, I wonder if he had done anything. He actually produced the Night of the Demons remake. He was one of the producers.
Interesting.
Which that wasn't a bad movie.
I haven't watched my copy of it yet, but it definitely didn't seem like from the trailer like it was going in a bad way. Tammy and the T-Rex at present is still left on Vinegar Syndrome's website in 4K Ultra HD for $33. There are over 500 copies left.
Oh, then I'm golden next month.
And no slipcover, but who cares?
It is what it is.
My Beastmaster will have a slipcover because I just fucking pre-ordered the whole shebang, like $150.
You wanted Beastmaster for a reason, exactly.
You say $150.
He ordered the set that comes with Beastmaster as well as Fade to Black, Forgotten Jolly 2, and whatever the other two movies are going to be.
Yeah, so I'm getting like 7 or 8 movies.
Okay.
And they'll probably, like, when they come out overall, if you hadn't done it that way, they'll probably cost like $200 to get all of them.
Correct.
I'm planning to get Fade to Black. I might get Forgotten Jolly 2 during the Black Friday sale. I don't know if I'm getting 2 yet. And then
I'm getting the first one during the sale.
But yeah, that's like this set basically kind of is a perfect example because you mentioned Scream Factory got gypped out of it or screwed out of it, I should say, because like I can't remember the last time these were in print before this set. And the other thing we should point out also about this is if you don't particularly want to buy the whole set, I believe the whole set is only available from Vinegar Syndrome as a box set. I mean, you can buy the individual movies from your local Amazon, Deep Discount, Diabolic,
Yeah.
etc.
I'll put a link below.
Yep.
The only time I remember seeing these before this box set was on VHS tapes back.
Exactly.
When I was a kid.
I think I remember maybe a few DVDs in a Blockbuster at some point. Particularly Dollhouse, I remember distinctly.
I remember
That one-
Dollhouse in like the rental store, but this one and the Evil Escapes I saw on TV.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure that was cut out, like the sex scene and most of the gore was probably cut out of this when I watched it.
I
But
guarantee it, though. I don't know how they cut the gore out.
they
There
might
are
have
some
just
things
they
that make
might have
more
just
sense.
taken some scenes out.
Mm-hmm. So what do we got next week, boys? We got the Dollhouse and what?
The Mirror.
The Mirror.
The third one, and the new generation.
Yes.
Ah. So that's both in the Vinegar set, right?
Yep.
I will complete the Vinegar set.
Okay, and then we're getting to the obscure stuff.
The remake, the obscure stuff, the
vibrator.
the everything. The clown house, the prison,
The Dawn.
the Conjuring.
We can just like mention The Conjuring because it's been. I'm pretty sure it's been reviewed on the show. Not by us, but
Go with that.
by Eli and I.
I don't know if it has been reviewed on the show, but go with that because I don't particularly am interested to watch it. So, but yeah, the litany of Amityville, the Amityville murders, the Amityville, the everything else.
The Amityville Exorcism.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a title, but I think it is.
I almost guarantee you it is. I will check right now.
I want to say that's one of the ones I saw on Tubi.
List of films based on the Amityville haunting.
You'll never watch all the Amityville movies if you get all of them because look at the old Ouija movies now. There's like 400 of them.
Yeah, because again, just like Amityville, the word Ouija gets in something, you can make whatever you want out of it.
One's made by Asylum. Which Amityville movie is made by Asylum?
Oh God, I should know that. I don't know.
Jr. in it.
I forget which one that is. But basically, after Amityville Horror, the remake, was when all this shit started going down, because there was not an Amityville movie for 9 years between Dollhouse and the remake, and then after that there was Amityville Haunting, Amityville Asylum, Conjuring, Amityville Death House, Amityville Playhouse, Amityville Vanishing Point, Conjuring 2, Amityville Legacy, Amityville Terror, Amityville No Escape, Amityville Evil Never Dies, Amityville Exorcism, January 3rd, 2017. Against the Night apparently is related to Amityville somehow. Amityville The Awakening, Amityville Mount Misery Road, Amityville Murders, Amityville Dawn, Amityville Island, Amityville Vibrator, and just releasing in 6 days from the moment we are recording this, the Amityville Harvest.
I didn't hear you say Amityville Toy Box.
I'm just going by what's on here.
Amityville Hex coming out next month with Sean C. Phillips and Lloyd Kaufman in it.
I didn't say Amityville Clown House, and Amityville Clown House I've seen the cover for, so I know this is just Wikipedia's list. It is by no means complete.
There's an Amityville Cop and an Amityville Island, which is a shark movie.
Yeah, I knew that one, the shark. I think that one actually might be the Asylum one. Amityville in the Hood. There. No. Come on.
We're doing it.
No, it's not what I'm saying. Haven't we been through this before? Amityville in the Hood. Duh.
Somebody needs to take something from Amityville in space.
Amityville Playhouse, Amityville Mount Misery Road, which I'd actually heard of. Witches of Amityville Academy. Amityville Cornfield, stated for 2021.
Oh boy.
Amityville Death House from 2015.
See, the problem with trying to find the Asylum Films Amityville movie is the fact that there is an existing movie called The Amityville Asylum.
Yeah. Well, look for Bill Albar's. How do you pronounce his name?
Bill Albar Jr.
Yes, him. It's his movie. It was like the first thing I ever got from Asylum to review back in the day.
Hang on. I'm actually. Oh wait, Amityville Haunting.
There it is.
The Amityville Haunting. Yeah, it was an Asylum movie. It actually does not have Bill Oberst Jr.
They don't.
Yeah, he was apparently in A Haunting in Salem, but he's not in this.
Oh, well, who can tell the difference, right?
Yeah,
There it is.
that's the thing. You think Ouija has a lot of shit. We know.
Went out
We
in
know.
3 minutes.
Soon.
Is that right?
What?
Not soon. Are you kidding me? You can't possibly do it soon. Do you have any idea how many Amityville movies are between this and that?
I know.
If we
But at
just
least
went this back
we don't
out?
have to wait. We're at least it's already out. Like there's a few that still aren't even out yet.
And I
We're gonna have
guarantee you, we're not gonna be able to find
those.
half of these.
No.
We're gonna try, but we're gonna not be able to.
Listen, I haven't bootlegged a movie in almost 10 years,
I know you would.
but goddamn it, I will.
I know you would.
I will. Now, Amityville Vibrator, I'm gonna buy because the guy's selling his own. The director's selling his own copies. I'm gonna buy one. Chuck might be able to get one to review, and I'll mail my copy to you.
We'll figure something out.
You and the wife will
And
enjoy it, I promise.
I can't figure a way out of it, and trust me, no, it's not gonna be that way. We got enough. I showed her Pontypool last night.
Oh, Pontypool. I don't know.
Very
Yeah, that's
good.
one I don't own. I seen that years ago, and I still don't own that. But
I had to order it from a fucking I don't know where from. It was a Kaleidoscope Films Blu-ray because I think it was Canada.
Blu-ray.
But that's the thing. Yeah, they never gave us a Blu-ray in America, so I had to order an import one that's region free because it comes with the original 57-minute radio play. But yeah, I told her afterwards, like we were talking about it. It's a good movie. It's a great movie.
It's one for Screen Factory to pick up.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you think about it too hard. You can analyze the shit out of the movie, but at the end, the ending is really weird. I mean, but it's a great movie.
You know, I've been hearing for about 5 years now the Screen Factory is supposed to release a collector's edition of Cabin Fever, but it has not happened yet.
Good.
Whereas Cabin Fever is probably like ain't that Lionsgate?
Yeah,
I think so.
I love Cabin Fever, the first one.
How's that remake?
Terrible. The most pointless thing you've ever seen in your life.
I've heard they basically just shot for shot at it.
It's almost shot for shot. They change a little bit, and then that's it. Like the cop now, Party Man or whatever, the cop is a woman.
Isn't part 3 Patient Zero?
That's good.
That was good.
I like it.
There was another one, Patient Zero, and
there was the one that
Patient Zero was 2 or 3.
There was the Ty West one was part 2 that he did.
That's the one that did.
Claim.
Yeah, then Patient Zero was 3. Yeah.
The one he don't.
Patient Zero was good.
Patient Zero was way better than it had any right to be, and you can get it for $1 at the Dollar Tree now.
No shit.
Yeah, because didn't Magnet release it?
Yeah.
That's why Magnet. They got a whole bunch of Magnet stuff right now. Mine doesn't have any. I checked like in the last couple weeks. But yeah, right now everybody's finding a whole bunch of Magnet stuff at Dollar Tree.
But part 2, I watched it one time. I didn't like it. I need to go back and rewatch it. I've got the DVD of it. It never was put on Blu-ray, was it? And
I feel like there was a Blu-ray of. Oh wait, 2 or 3 or 2 or 1.
Part two with Ty West.
I doubt it. I know the first one.
They kind of took it from him. Like I don't know if he ever finished it. Did he not finish it? Is that what happened?
That was the issue. He said it was like half of his movie, and then they took it away from him.
Yeah. I guess he tried to make it more like one of his movies, and they wouldn't go for it. But I need to rewatch it. I don't think it's on a Blu-ray though.
So the first there is one. It's a Blu-ray that's imported from Italian. Yeah, there's a regular Cabin Fever Blu-ray. It's $12.24 on Amazon right now with the unrated director's cut. There's a Blu-ray of Patient Zero, which is either $8 or $10 depending on what listing you're looking at on Amazon.
But check your Dollar Trees first.
There's also a Blu-ray 2-pack that comes with Wolf Creek 2, as well as Patient Zero, for $14. The remake is $18. There's also a French Blu-ray of Cabin Fever 2 for $22.61. Apparently there was a Steelbook at some point that I have no idea where you're going to find that now.
But, you know, since we're on the subject of Ty West, I still need a Blu-ray of House of the Devil. Still need.
I just have DVD of it, but
that's all I've got of it. I bought it for my birthday one year, and I never did get the Blu-ray.
You ever
I've got it on VHS.
Yeah, you do,
Hey.
don't you? Get
$27.52 on Amazon, Chuck.
that. It's out print.
I know. That's what I was about to say. As I was about to ask you, how long do you think before we start seeing Magnet stuff get Blu-ray releases from other companies?
Any day now.
Because we're getting to it. Well, you're right. We're getting to a point where Tucker and Dale versus Evil is about 10 years old now.
Yeah.
The Last Circus is gold made for Severin because they're already doing 2 other Alex de la Iglesias movies. Just said it. Fuck.
Tucker and Dale.
No, you just said it a minute ago. Oh, House of the Devil.
Yeah.
House of the Devil, of course. I Saw the Devil is phenomenal. I mean,
I've been wanting to watch that again.
Didn't they do the Host movie?
They
The
did
Monster
the Host,
movie.
the Monster Korean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that, if someone actually wanted to, like
Yeah.
that's the thing. I don't see Scream Factory doing it because they're in bed with IFC. You know, and even then, all that really happens there is every so often, if something gets a big enough push, they give it what it's worth. So like the Babadook has its Blu-ray through them right now, and the Editor has its Blu-ray through them right now.
Maybe this is where Vestron will sweep in and grab a bunch of stuff.
They're supposed to have a good year next year.
I just wonder
I
what
would
that
very
means.
much like the Host in 4K.
Yeah,
Might be available in another country already. Just suggesting.
the Host.
Is
Which is great. I only got the DVD of the Host. I need a Blu-ray of the Host.
Same here.
I've got a Blu-ray and I've got the Korean, this really awesome, like 3-disc set. It's in a acrylic etched case. It's about this big.
Yeah. I had to give away about 30 copies of the Host on DVD, and equally as many copies of what was it, Owen Bach on Blu-ray, the trilogy.
Yeah, you were supposed to send me that.
Yeah, it's wherever it is.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Man, at some point.
But you should have seen that those boxes showed up full of those things, man. Which I guess that's when they went out of business. They're like, well, what are we going? The PR company's like, what are we going to do with all these stuff? I don't know if I'm some idiot to take them off. So.
Well, I mean, Logo's still doing that kind of stuff. They did the Ip Man trilogy and stuff. They think they had the Ong Bak stuff for a while.
Did you ever see the Shockwave or listen to the Shockwave's episode where that Rebecca woman talked about how she got cases and cases of the Arison Extreme titles or whatever it was?
Extreme?
Yeah, when they went out of business, like she had like stuff like Tales of Two Sisters and stuff like that.
Oh, Tartan Asia Extreme.
Yeah. And said that they just sent her a bunch of stuff. So like since she was working for, I think it was Fangoria at the time or something like that, they just gave away tons of stuff. But she said she got home, there was just cases of these things stacked up.
So, I don't know if it's just me, it's a story. It only pissed me off at the time. When I went to Hudson Horror once, one of the people from Dread Central was there doing horror trivia. And so he's just walking around asking random questions. Eventually, though, he just starts going, anybody want this? I don't know if anybody want this. And he's like reaching into this big bin of stuff. But the thing is, he's basically just sitting there going, you want this? I don't give a fuck. I don't know what it is. Here, take it. And I'm like, you're supposed to like be the horror guy for Dread Central, and you're going, take this. I don't give a fuck.
What was? Do you remember what it was?
I can't remember off the top of my head what the movies were, but they were like, there was just the most random pile of stuff that they had to give away. Basically, they'd given him in a bin, and at first he tried to do questions, and then he just said fuck it and started throwing them halfway around the room, whatever he wanted. And that's one of the reasons that some of the bigger websites kind of turn me off now, is I feel like some of those people have a lot of power at those sites. The people who are like, what is that? Yeah, great. I don't know if that's just me or anything, but
it's a good possibility.
But I wish they'd sent me a bunch of those Asian Extreme titles, because there's still a bunch of them I didn't get.
So, I don't know if you saw, I don't know if they still have, but Grindhouse Video, in their clearance section, which I think is buy two, get one free right now, has a bunch of Asian Extreme stuff. I got Silk, Acacia, I got like 5
I need Acacia.
I got like 5 things from that last time I looked. So, if you look in their stuff amongst their clearance, you might find some you're missing, because that's where I got a bunch of them pretty cheap recently.
Yeah.
because I think he got the same issue.
Yeah. I bought Tale of Two Sisters at the local game exchange. There for a while, they were taking just anything. When they first opened, they took cult movies, whatever. They took it. Now they have like a real strict list of stuff that they take and they don't take, so you don't find that cool there anymore.
When they run out of space.
Yeah. So I ended up getting I got a good copy of the Wraith and all that stuff there when it first opened. Now it's Saw, 400 copies of Saw and stuff like that.
The sucky thing is I can't even search it under labels because he didn't put Tartan Asia Extreme as a label you could search.
Can you just search Tartan?
Is that the same company that released the original Blu-ray trilogy of Old Boy and all that?
Yes, I still have that actually. I have the steel Blu-ray set, the container. Okay, so right now he's got, and I think some of these are still, some of them are buy two get one, some aren't. So this is a full list of what he's selling. He's got Wishing Stairs, $12.99. Whispering Corridors, $12.99. Vital, $12.99. Victim, $14.99. Spider Forest, $12.99. Red Shoes, $12.99. R Point, $14.99. Prey, $12.99. P, $14.99. Memento Mori, $12.99. The Heirloom, $14.99. H6, $12.99. Ghost of May Knock, $14.99. Face, $12.99. Bloody Reunion, $14.99. Cello, $14.99. Got a few of the buy two get ones, which are, and these are all $6.99. Doppelganger, Unborn But Not Forgotten, The Booth, and Dorm. I've also got Silk and the Maid for $6.99 each, and then he's also got $14.99 for Cinderella and $19.99 for a used copy of Dance Commander's favorite, Tetsuo the Iron Man.
I want to see Iron Man until I seen it.
So,
and then when I seen it, I was like, well, what the heck is this?
So if you go to grindhousevideo.com and search Tartan, it'll pull all that up if you want to look at it.
Yeah, there you go. So they ought to sponsor us.
We live to serve. We have no sponsors. It would be very easy for Diabolic, Grindhouse, or anybody else to sponsor us, but we are not asking or begging for that kind of stuff because God knows we ain't making money off this.
This is a non-profit organization.
Correct.
If you want to support us, you can buy something with the Amazon link, and that 30 cents will pay for this program that I pay $15 a month for that I just paid for 2 days ago.
Yep. That 30 cents will buy him a stick of gum.
Will it though?
I know, not anymore. Yeah.
Maybe some really cheap gum at the Dollar Tree, right? You just gotta save it up.
There you go.
And
so this was the second highest rated Amityville film thus far.
By us. Actually, I think it was the highest rated by us.
The only opinions that matter.
I gave 4 or 4.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you gave it a 4. Because I say technically 2 of us gave this a 3.5, whereas 2 of us gave the other one a 3. So it's up there with it. Yep. You know.
You guys both gave the last one a 3 and a 3.5.
Oh.
3 to 3.5, yeah. So it's at least second most at best.
Second most.
It should be pointed out, don't listen to IMDb on this, who claims that Amityville 1992 is presently rated, just had it a minute ago, the amazing rating of 4.6 out of 10. No.
There it is.
No. It's better than that. No. Just because the movie is weird and just because the movie is crazy doesn't mean it's bad.
No. The movie is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And when IMDb says the gore and violence is severe on an Amityville film, I mean, come on.
But it is. Yeah, at this point going forward, I have never seen Mirror, so don't spoil this fact for me or Dollhouse. But I know that this one at the very least is called out for body horror on the back of the case. But this is the point where we're actually in direct-to-video land. So there's a little more freedom there than there is with otherwise. And also, for the record, just to point out as a last thought on It's About Time, one of the things that Tony Randall briefly mentions in his interview, because we talked about this before with other movies, is that to make this movie, they had a budget of about $1.2 million. They made this on a little more than half the budget of Amityville 4. So
now, come on, most of that probably went to Patty Duke.
Oh, of course. I mean, they made it on a fifth of the budget of Amityville 3D. Let's go there.
And we know what that got us.
Yeah.
So, at the very least, it's proving that on low money, they can do pretty damn amazing things. So.
Right.
Yeah, way better than the studio ones we've done seen.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
what's coming next week? Next week's the Dollhouse, right?
Yes and no. Next up is
deja fucking vu.
I know, right? We had this conversation, right? We sure we don't have we have a clock in here, don't we? Someone get the damn clock off the mantelpiece.
We ran it back.
Jesus.
As long as none of us turned into a baby. But yeah, next week it's going to be Amityville New Generation first, and then after that, Amityville Dollhouse.
There you have it. It'll be Halloween.
All I'm going to say, and you guys can correct me in 2 episodes from now, but with a name like Amityville Dollhouse, that film has no right to be as good as it actually is. That's all I'm going to say.
All I'm going to say on that is there was a reason why I recognized it from the movie store as seeing it on the wall, not from actually seeing it, so I don't doubt it.
Thanks for watching and continuing this journey with us. We'll see you next week with The Mirror. Whatever the fuck you just said it was called, I don't remember.
New Generation.
Sure.